Happy day or happy day. I'm gonna call this the first day of construction on the KE70s. Got a handful of bits and bobs. Welsh / freeze plugs. Got some crush washers for the sump and the gearbox. So it's finally time to start putting stuff together, which I'm very excited about. I'm gonna start putting these in tonight and hopefully paint the engine block. And then yeah, it's finally time to start putting stuff together, which is super exciting. Finally move this thing soon, hopefully. Here's a block at the moment, so kind of cleaned up. Still got to order some seals and stuff, but I've got a quote for them and another quote coming. But I bought some black paint, so I'm thinking it's time to just get that on. And then once I get all the rest of the seals, I'll be ready to put the gearbox on. Just chuck these on, I'll see if I can time lapse it or something, but they're pretty simple. You can look up on YouTube how to put them in, which is exactly what I did, so just do that. I don't know what I'm doing, so don't ask me. I'm just dropping stuff all over the place. So yeah, I'm very excited. Well, I should probably just give a quick overview of what I've got here. These are brass freeze plugs, so they're just made to fill the holes on the block. I don't know much about this kind of stuff, but so you just smack them in there. Use a socket that's slightly smaller than this in a diameter, so that once it squeezes in, it doesn't grab the socket and you can't pull it out. But I've got a few here. I've got 3 that are 35mm, and they're for the, I guess it's both the cold and the hot side of the block, which will have all these coolant passages. What you can see in one of the pictures that I took were full of gunk. So I've cleaned all that out, pulled out all the plugs, so I'll put 3 fresh plugs in them. They're all the same size on this block, all 35mm. And then I've got a couple large ones, which the main culprit of this whole saga is this. This is the rear freeze plug, which while pulling it out, massive hole. So that'll be, which one is it? I think it's that one, which doesn't look as nice, but whatever. So that one will go in there. And then like an idiot that I am, I didn't realize that all of this side is a oil zone. So none of these would be rusted at all like that one there. But I'd already pulled it out, so I thought I might as well just clean it up, put some stuff on it. But this one, yeah, obviously didn't rust. I thought it had a bit of corrosion on it, which could have just been from, you know, water flinging around and stuff, but whatever, it's out now, so I'm gonna replace that. That one was a bitch to get out, because obviously you can see there's like a cam in there, so that was terrible. And then I've also got this, which was recommended for these. It's a hard setting gasket sealant maker, so I think the idea is that it doesn't go soft, and then when you go to pull it out, it just cracks. So yeah, gonna keep going. Order some more parts soon, but yeah, I'm just gonna do a little bit more of a clean up. I found a old toothbrush, so I'm gonna get into a few little spots that I missed on the front, which I'll show you. But yeah, just get in here with some cleaner while I can. But I'm not gonna paint this bit anyway. I'm just gonna tape off here and get as much in here as I can. I've just put in these 3 freeze plugs on this side, on the coolant side. It's come up really well. It's actually quite fun to do this, even though how much I was dreading it. It's actually kind of fun. You remember those like wood blocks that you'd push the little shapes through the holes or whatever? It's kind of like that. But I've just realised accidentally gotten, I think the guy might have stuffed up. I've accidentally gotten two 45s instead of a 47. So I'm good for that one. But this hole is actually slightly bigger, so you can see how close and precise these need to be. Just need one about 2 or 3 mil bigger for this hole. So I might have to run down the shop and grab another one, but I've also done the small one over here, so it's much better. Kind of maybe could have got away with the one that came out of that one because I didn't smash it up too much, but they're pretty cheap, so it was just good just to get it done and out of the way. So I might run down the street now and see if I can get another one and maybe swap this. We'll see. So doing ghetto ass shit with the homies, aka it's just me and Ruby. Because I'm an idiot and I removed this one, which is an oil cavity, and I don't know if they're as easily accessible to replace. So I was struggling to get one the right size, meant to be like this little steel cap. I was struggling, went to a few different shops, ended up going to a random engine builder in Cranbourne, and he had some that were slightly bigger than what I had, which was a 45 for there, but I needed like a 47. So I found this one that was 46 and a half roughly, which was about slightly bigger than what I measured, but when I got it back, basically slipped in, it was like the exact same size. So I thought, what's some ghetto shit that I could do? And I thought, maybe I could push one of these in with the bevel edge and stretch it out. But obviously all these are too small, but to demonstrate on this one, which is slightly smaller, go in and push it out and spread it out. My theory being that these are just pushed out metal anyway. If I could expand this outer edge so it would grip on, would basically do the same thing in my theory. So Dad being a plumber, I ended up finding this in his shop, brass fitting, which the outer diameter on here was ever so slightly bigger than the inner diameter of the piece. So I'm going to try grab that back out and just stretch it a little bit more. But basically I just put it on the end there, chucked it in the vise. I was going to use that piece of aluminium to protect it, but it's too hard to hold. Put it on there and just squeeze it together, and obviously managed to make it fit, because now I can't pull that out by hand. So I managed to stretch it just that tiny little bit, enough to get it to hold in there, whereas that was just spinning around by hand before. Fuck yeah, your mate's a ghetto genius over here. I reckon, Ruby? You impressed? You impressed with your dad? Building your car, you could at least look excited. Look at that big snoozy nosy, huh? Look at that schnoot. Oink, oink. Woo! Alright, your boy might have done too good of a job. First time I stretched it out, I just did a little bit. And I pushed it in there just to have a look. And because the cam's right there, you can't flip these like a normal one. So like these plugs, when you smash them out, you're going to spin it around, then you can pull it. With this, because the cam's there, you can't push it in. So it's in there for good. And hopefully it's never coming out. We'll see. So that's in there. Hopefully I spread it enough that it's tight enough, but I couldn't get it out. I ended up just pushing it in further. So just chuck some goop on there. I didn't get to put any inside, which I'm not stoked on, but it is what it is. So hopefully it holds. We will see in the future. Hello again. So it's finally time to paint the block. I've got a couple of things I want to get done tonight, which is I'm going to make a block off plate for where the mechanical fuel pump goes. So that's the first thing. And then mask off and hopefully paint the block. So this is after I've spent a heap of time cleaning it all. You can see it's all looking much better. I'm not going to strip the engine down any more than this. I think this is enough. These are still pretty cheap, and I wasn't planning on going this far. So got these boys down here. They've just had a quick clean up with some spray, which has made them look 10 times better, but I'll give them a further clean and actually scrub them a bit. A couple of the arms for the gearbox. See, they're still pretty grotty. I haven't cleaned them up yet. So I'll get onto them as well, I reckon, because I'll probably paint them up to match that. And then the gearbox over here. So I painted this up. And this is what I've decided to do. Everything is just made it all look so nice. Gone over it with some black really quick. and made it all just look so much better. Here's a little alternator bracket, just looks so much better. Just brushed it off with a wire wheel on the drill. So a little cheap one from Aldi. Just plan on doing that with a few more things while I can. Doesn't take much longer and then it'll be a much better finished product. So I'm gonna put some music on, clean up. As I say in too many episodes, it's my favorite thing to do for some reason, is clean up. Just makes everything easier to work on. So that's first. So I'm just working on, I'm gonna make a little plate for this. This is where the mechanical fuel pump was. I've got the pump here. Just gonna transfer to that to some cardboard. Then I've got a bit of metal outside that I'm gonna cut. So I'll just show you what I'm doing. So I've just shoved the pump through the cardboard here. Just trace that out on there. There we go. I just need to make that top bit up, which is just a straight line across those points. So it's pretty easy. Good enough for me. So I'll go cut this out and then I'll mark it onto my metal. Now this is warped a little bit, so I've just drawn it up so that when it's on, it pulls inward. I'm gonna goop it up and it shouldn't have much pressure on it anyway, but worst case, if this doesn't work, I'll have a template that I can make something better out of, because it is really easy to access. Once it's on the engine, there's nothing around here in the way. So worst case, I can take it off and redo it. So I'm not that worried about it. But yeah, just working with the metal the way it wants to go. Like I said, I'm not that worried about it. There's just some scrap that I had. I've just cut this off. This looks pretty rough, but I know the shapes I want. So it's just a guide. So here's my little bracket on. Cut it a little bit oversized for now, so I can trim it down and it'll look a little bit better, but it's pretty wonky at the moment, but that doesn't matter. But yeah, that's kind of how it's gonna look. And then once I paint the block and everything, it'll just be all black and look a bit nice. All right, slowly getting there. Still not painting, but doing other things that need to be done. So cleaned up these brackets, so they're pretty much ready to go. And then I made this little plate, and then I've just put some gasket maker on it, tightened it down just to make it squish out or whatever. So just gonna leave that to sit for a little bit, then I'll come back out and tighten it after dinner. But yes, looking very good. Clean the water pump. It's got some corrosion, so we'll see how that goes, but whatever. Now that's on, which still don't even know if it should be doing or not, but once that's on, I can start masking everything up and start painting it. So, keen bean. I think this is the most effort I've ever put into painting something. Spent ages cleaning it all, prepping it all. If you've seen the video from before of how dirty this thing was, it's just been a mission. But finally ready to chuck some paint on. Just gonna mostly paint the block and then maybe chuck some on the sump as well to clean it up. But masked off all the areas where I could get some overspray. Not too worried about the top because I've got to clean that up later anyway. And then it's only really where you're gonna pass it. Chuck on some paint. So I've done one, what I'd call light coat with this Duplicolor engine, just a gloss black or something like that. But these are really high pressure and the nozzles are quite sticky. It's pretty hard to just get a light coat, to be honest. But I got a couple runs just because of that and just the nozzle sticking down basically, but not too worried about it. But the rest of it's looking good. It's looking a lot better than before, so should look really cool. painting. It's looking really good. Just gonna wait for it to tack off, then I'm gonna pull off all the masking tape and everything, and then we'll be able to have a proper look. But just give it 10 or 20 minutes to tack off a little bit. But looking good so far. Here we go, all finished and painted up. Looking very nice. But yes, I don't know what to tell you, but he looks pretty good. One little spot there I could have made a bit neater, but no one ever noticed. What else? So I had the bolts in each of the holes taped up, so they ended up pretty good, just to keep the threads clean. A couple of these I ended up going over because I realized they will probably be exposed, because I have no idea what goes in those. Someone might know, but that's above the mechanical fuel pump. But when I looked at pictures, the pump sits there and there's nothing there, so might be for some other kind of setup. Yeah, I'll show you around it. I'll give it a spin. Is the hot and cold side of these engines. Yeah, looks pretty good. Still got to paint up a couple little things. These engines have a brace that goes off here, and then I guess it's to support the gearbox. This comes off there to there, so I'm going to paint them up as well. I've already cleaned them up, so I'll just give them a spray now. Really happy with how the front came out. Give it another spin so we can have a look. This thing's kind of hard to steer. Oh. Only the front wheels turn on this. Here's a little plate that I made. Just look black and blend in. Now it's painted, but yeah, I was really happy with how this came out. It's where the water pump mounts on, so you need to keep that pretty clean. Yeah, it came out pretty crispy. Cool. And then as I go along, if I keep this engine for long enough, get some extractors. Found a set of those pretty cheap, so I might grab some of them once I can if this engine's running good. So I'll neaten all the top end of that up once I do that. But not much point doing that right now. Just kind of want to get this in and get it running. But yeah, just wanted to make it look a bit nicer. I think while you've got an opportunity like this, you're better off just putting in a little bit more effort. You know, you'll make things nicer in the long run, and then you'll probably look after them better as well. Plus, if there's any leaks or anything, it'll make it a lot easier to tell once everything's actually cleaned and uniform. So, yeah, stoked on it. It's looking sick.